Welcome to SciTech Culture with Steve Kern and Ben Warner, where we examine science, technology and culture in the 21st century. Visit our website at scitechculture.com. Hello and welcome to SciTech Culture. My name is Ben Warner and I'm joined by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern to kick off 2018 and a new set of episodes for us. Starting with Trump, a recurring theme from last year, and he's not going away anytime soon. So considering he started off with a big bang this year with the tweet storms he's been doing, seems like a good place to start the year, really, doesn't it?
Well, fantastic place to start the year. And who would have thought? I thought he might be a bit boring 12 months ago, but he's proved to be anything but.
One of the, just before we get into that whole tweet storm thing, I just wanted to touch on quickly something that I saw in some coverage this morning where he brought cameras into the deliberation he was having over immigration policy. I don't remember all the details, but essentially he brought the cameras in and people were filming them discussing what was going to happen in this immigration bill or whatever it was that they were trying to put together. And they had some Democrats in there, Republicans in there, and they were all having a, quote unquote, full on frank discussion about what they were going to put in there. And one commentator that I saw, who is, I think, quite balanced anyway, from CNN, made the point that he expected he was going to see more of that in the Trump presidency. So, in other words, it was like he was going to bring the cameras in and really turn it into a reality TV show. So wherever they went, there'd be cameras, and you'd see the latest episode on the Hill. But in the end, he said what he didn't expect to see was the apparent chaos, the tweet storms, the almost petulant behavior that seems to have really dominated that first year in his presidency. And I'm actually I think it's a good point. I think I was expecting to see more episodes coming out of the White House.
Well, I think we all expected to sort of see a reality-based West Wing with a bit of The Apprentice in there, and we expected it to be, probably quite crude and sort of not as sexy as, you would expect even normal reality TV to be. But, he's probably spiced it all up, changed it all up. He's changed politics forever, I think, globally. But, with these tweet storms, with these outbursts, I just think the man must be a genius.
A stable genius at that.
Make a statement that he is. I mean, that's one of the most clever things I've ever heard. It's like, it doesn't even matter anymore whether it's true or not. And then in post-truthism, if he says he's a genius, I guess maybe he is.
Yeah, absolutely. So we won't go through there was one morning where he set off 20 tweets, each one of which was outrageous on its own. But just to take a step back from that, what caused that was the release of that book from Michael Wolff, the Fire and Fury book, which ironically in any other given scenario wouldn't fly because from all reports, I haven't read it, but from all reports, it's factually dubious. It goes fast and loose with a lot of the reporting that's in the book. But ironically, I think this book, if it's what they're saying it is actually the perfect book for this presidency because it's almost exactly like what he's doing. So this guy,
completely agree. Yeah.
So this guy's come in, he's crafted this story, this narrative, and it sounds right. Who cares if, this person didn't say this to this person in this way or whatever? It just sounds right. And it, like you just mentioned, post-truth era, it's the perfect book for the era, and he's playing right into it by actually responding to it.
Well, if you look at what we probably, in the educational system spent a lot of time doing in the last 10 or 15 years, which is capturing the emotion of communication and it doesn't really, the technical details aren't as important as really understanding the wider concept. And you're spot on, like a book like this probably is close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, no one actually knows what Trump is guilty of. We know he's guilty of a lot of bad things, but, most of them are just allegations. Some of them may be true, some of them might not. But anything that just captures the general concept it's probably a good read too. And that's the most important thing of all in a post-truth world.
The one thing before we move on from that book is that Michael Wolff himself, the author, said that, and I think he's kind of, he's doing a bit of, spruiking himself, because it sounds like he's got a bit of a shady sort of aspect to it. But he actually did say, I'm sort of paraphrasing, but he did say that the book is a representation of the points of view that people in the White House told him. And because there were so many factions in the White House that were against each other, he sort of had to deduce what was the truth from all of these sort of stories and fast and loose facts that he was experiencing, which again is something that sounds like it rings true.
Well, that's exactly what we see. Those of us outside of the White House who follow, the US presidency, that's all you see is fast, loose language, fast, loose actions, and fast and loose, repercussions. And you can push a world leader to the edge one day, and then the next day claim that you got great personal relationship with him. So, I don't know. What are you meant to say? You then look at some of the other things that are going on. You say, well, maybe he's right. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Okay, I just wanted to move on. And this is something, I guess, that will lead into how the rest of this year will go. And there's talk now in the political commentary aspect of the Trump presidency in terms of are his actions and those that are, I guess, in effect enabling him by not denouncing what he says, degrading the overall political process and culture in the States. And this has come up largely because of his somewhat derogatory comments towards the Haitians recently, which I won't go into. You can look that up yourself. It's not just derogatory; it was racist, given that he preferred people from Norway rather than Haiti. But that aside, that obviously that was like an example, but it was like the icing on the cake for this comment of how long is it going to take after he goes for America to repair what's going on at the moment? Because it seems like barring him getting walked away in handcuffs with the Russia investigation or whatever, he's going to be there still for another 3 years, unless he calls quits himself because he's had enough. So
maybe even 7.
Or yeah, that's right. He could be there for another 7, unless Oprah takes him on. But so
don't worry, Zuckerberg will take him on next election.
So. Are they in a position where it's going to take them a while to get back on their feet, or are they just going to slide?
I don't know if it's a case of that. I think what Trump has done is he's changed the nature of politics. He's changed it completely. I don't think there's ever any going back now. You and I have spoken about it before. He's the genie out of the bottle. I think celebrity politics is in, which is why you get names like Oprah floated around and Zuckerberg. And I think that will be the new way. Maybe someone out there, one of these celebrities, will make a great president. There's every chance of that. But I also think society's changed so much that in a single generation now it's unrecognisable. So the politics of the future will be unrecognisable, and democracy will become something that to us is unrecognisable. In a lot of ways, that could be scary, I guess, because we don't know what democracy of the future will look like. But there's no going back. Yeah. Whatever happens, even if things get better, they'll never be like they were.
Well, just to finish up on this point, I was watching another documentary, and it was actually about Obama and when he first took office. That behind closed doors, he was criticised by basically everyone on the inside as being a rookie, not knowing what he was doing, didn't have the chops and the experience to really, do the job. Well, he had the temperament, but he didn't have that sort of insider knowledge to really sort of grease the wheels to get things done. So the next step of that is that if you've got a celebrity coming in just like Trump now, and so the next one's a celebrity and they're an outsider and they don't have that internal understanding of having been in the system for 5-10 years and figuring out how to make things happen, because politics is a unique beast. It's not a business deal. It's not something as simple as that. Almost, it is difficult, and you have to figure it out. That it's eroding the possibility of having effective leaders at the top, because what made effective leaders in the past were the people that would come through. They would be elected to a lower level office. They would be in that office, be in the trenches for a while, see how it worked, so that when they finally did get to the higher or the highest office, they knew what was happening down there, and then that could inform the way they would go about it. Someone just coming in from the outside just isn't going to have that knowledge, unless they somehow happen to go through that process. So that could potentially cause a systemic issue if it's only that type of person that ends up, in a leadership capacity, like the president of the US.
Yeah, look, I agree, but I also think probably what counted against Obama that didn't happen to, say, someone like JFK was the world changed while Obama was president. The iPhone got released, and the rest is history. And what I think is happening now is that the public are becoming the third force in politics. So the opposition now is typically the opposition party combined with public opinion. And you can see it more and more. The opposition just serves public opinion, and that actually puts two parties, or the weight of opinion generally, against anything unpopular that a government might try to do. And I think that's the real erosion of power. I don't know what sort of person it takes. It would have to take a very charismatic person. Obama was a very charismatic person. I mean, I guess everyone kind of felt, unless they were staunch Republicans, I think everyone kind of felt they kind of liked him. But he probably wasn't very successful, or as successful as everyone hoped. Now, is that a failing of his? Did we expect too much? Or was he not well enough prepared? Or have things changed so much that he couldn't do or reach his potential? There's a lot of variables in there, but I think now the only way forward is a charismatic leader. Used to be a strong leader saying, we're going to do this, I don't care about the opposition, we're just going to go ahead. Now I think you've got to have a nice white smile, twinkly eyes, full head of hair, look great in a swimsuit, and be able to say, hey, this is the best thing ever,
Come along with us. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Steve, I might wrap it up there, and I guess we'll just keep continuing to check in with Trump, because he just keeps generating. I don't know if you think this, but obviously he gets off on causing controversy. He likes seeing people getting fired up, but I actually think his actions generate the possibility of having discussions about what's going on, because I guess it is new, it is different territory, it's unknown territory, it's where is this going? I think that's the ultimate question, is where is this going, that the unknown around that is quite fascinating.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think out of this, people will be a lot more aware of what they want from the president, and will be a lot more aware of what they want for their politicians and democracy, wherever they are, whoever they are. So, I don't think things always need to follow the script. I mean, you might wish that Trump probably was a little bit more smoother or rounded around the edges, but he's what he is, and if he's forcing people to consider their personal positions, then maybe there will be some good that comes out of this ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we'll wrap it up there. And so don't forget our website, SciTechCulture.com. You can get all of our links and content there. Subscribe to all of our channels. Got YouTube, Vimeo, got audio, all that sort of thing. Whatever tickles your fancy there in terms of how you consume us. There's some sort of channel that you'll be able to subscribe to, and on any device that you need to see us on. All right, so that's it for this episode. We'll catch you next time.